I had meticulously planned that night, taking Lila to the city's most exclusive gala. I wanted everything to be perfect, her in a striking emerald dress, the chandelier lights reflecting off her hair, us smiling together like the perfect couple everyone envied. For hours, everything seemed fine, laughter, champagne, polite conversations. But I couldn't ignore the subtle glances she kept exchanging with a man across the room, James, her colleague, or perhaps something more. My gut churned, but I told myself I was overreacting. The night spiraled when James approached. Lila's smile shifted instantly. The warmth I thought was ours replaced with something almost magnetic. She introduced me stiffly, barely acknowledging my presence. I tried to join the conversation, but it was clear. She was enthralled by him. I reminded myself to stay calm, but a sinking feeling settled in my chest. When I suggested leaving, she whispered something almost inaudible, then walked out with him, leaving me in stunned silence. Everyone around us continued to laugh, oblivious to the betrayal that had just occurred. I drove home alone, hands gripping the wheel, thinking. I could confront her, make a scene, but I wanted more than just revenge. I wanted her to feel the full weight of her actions. By morning, I had devised a plan. First, I gathered proof. Friends confirmed seeing her leave with James, even sending me photos of them laughing on the way to a hotel. My rage turned into careful calculation. I would expose her, but on my terms. That evening, I invited a small circle of friends for drinks, casually masking the tension between Lila and me. She arrived radiant as always, completely unaware of what I knew. I greeted her warmly, the calmness in my tone masking the storm inside. The guests sensed something in the air, and that was when I decided to act. I began casually speaking about the gala, painting a picture of elegance and charm, while watching her increasingly nervous glances. Then, with deliberate calm, I said, "Lila, I think everyone here might like to see something." I connected my phone to the living room screen, displaying the photos of her and James walking together, proof undeniable. The room went silent, her face drained of color. "What? How did you?" she stammered. "I know everything," I said, letting each word linger. "I saw you leave with him, knowing it wasn't just innocent conversation. And now, I think everyone here should know the truth." The friends exchanged uncomfortable looks, while I let the photos speak for themselves. Then I took it further. I revealed her handbag, left carelessly on the couch, and pulled out a hotel key card, tiny gifts, and intimate notes that proved the affair had been planned. She gasped, eyes wide, realizing the trap she had walked right into. But that was only the beginning. I leaned closer and said, "Do you know what's worse than everyone seeing this?" She shook, terrified. "The truth is, you still don't understand what you've lost." I pressed a button on my phone. A video began playing, hidden footage I had installed in her car days earlier. It showed her and James arriving at the hotel, laughing and kissing, completely unaware they were being recorded. Her horror was palpable as the room went utterly silent. Tears streamed down her face as she finally understood. I had known more than she ever imagined. I didn't yell, I didn't scream. I simply let the evidence speak, letting everyone witness the depth of her betrayal. But the ultimate twist came next. "I've already called the hotel," I said, holding her gaze. "James just checked out. I've arranged for all the staff to review this footage. They know everything. And you? You're banned from this chain entirely. Your career, your reputation, it's all on the line. Not because I told anyone, but because you walked into this thinking you were untouchable." Her confident facade shattered completely. She collapsed onto the couch, silent, shivering. She had assumed I'd confront her in anger, beg her to choose, or quietly leave it behind. Instead, I had weaponized her own actions, exposing her to consequences she never anticipated. I turned to the room, my voice calm but firm. "I think you've learned a valuable lesson tonight. Betrayal is never invisible. And sometimes, the person you think is powerless has all the power." She ran from the room, her sobs echoing, but this time it wasn't me who felt anguish, it was her. I had reclaimed my dignity, my pride, and most importantly, I had shown her that actions have consequences beyond the moment of thrill. Weeks later, her life began to unravel. Friends distanced themselves, rumors spread, her career suffered. Not because I slandered her, but because she had walked into a trap built entirely from her own choices. I remained composed, moving forward, free from the deceit and manipulation that had poisoned my life. She thought she held all the power that night. She thought leaving me for another man would thrill her. But in reality, she had handed me the leverage to expose her completely, turning her own arrogance into her downfall. And in that quiet, devastating revelation, I found something far greater than revenge. Freedom, clarity, and a sense of justice that no words could ever convey. That night, at the gala, Lila walked out thinking she controlled the narrative. But the truth is, I had written the final chapter, and it shocked everyone, especially her.